Tapos, explain mo talaga, laga kami, explain. Tumama ka ng ano, kahit ako, sa bato, umaga, tawag mo na. Umaga, kahit nadiking ka, no? Yung may gawin ko. Kahit na lang nadiking. Now, kahit nadiking ko. Manuwa yung explain na ron. Explain nga blura din. Like, ano? Yung malima, pati na yung super pen. King perfect. Ay, king perfect. Ngayon nga rin, tabakan mabalin yung pagod, deliver. Deliver na. Lima kung ano naman, di advance ako. Dahil naman, hindi ko direct. Ay, mabinta direct. Mabinta direct yun, ay, boss garong doon. Kaya dapat ka? Kaya dapat ka lang. Kaya boss garong doon. King perfect cake, kaya na. King perfect. Ay, king perfect. Sige na rin. Namayat mo na, klasa na. Magkanulasa na. Sige na rin, baka tayo sa mga biniwa. Oo nga, tapos na rin, ayan mo. Kaya na, kaya pili mo sa ako, kaya wala ko na, ay gusto din, super.
Super King.
King perfect, super. Manilang ka? Perfect, patindigaw na. Ay, nagbabalik na lang niyanan. Perfect, perfect. Beautiful. Kung nakita ni, di ba, hidden lens sa sarap ba? Nagbabalik na. Ayan, so, switch na ka garon. O, sige garon. Good.
We have the
Masipong. Masipong. Masipong.
Ayun, sakto.
remember you said you don't do it with a clenched fist instead of do it with an open hand. Yeah, remember that? Yeah. I didn't want that. You have it.
No, on the call.
You said the worst thing to slap a woman now and then is I remember you said you don't do it with a clenched fist, it's better to do it with an open hand. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
I changed my opinion.
You have it.
No, on the call.
Letters on the sky, burning in your eyes. You look at me, babe, I wanna catch on fire. Buried in my soul, California gold. Found a light in me that I couldn't find. So when I hold you down, the words, every time we say it, when the sun goes down and the band won't play, I wait to remember us then.
She doesn't need a deal, huh? She needs some. You're getting not someone who rushes. So far, been working with remote repositories each time you pushed or pulled from your own GitHub repository while working on the curriculum's various projects. In this section, we're going to cover slightly more advanced topics, which you might not have yet encountered or had to use. Lesson Overview. This section contains a general overview of topics that you will learn in this lesson. Using remotes to change history. Dangers of history changing operations. Best practices of history changing operations. Force pushing with Git. Let's say you're no longer working on a project all by yourself, but with someone else. You want to push a branch you've made changes on to a remote repository. Normally, Git will only let you push your changes if you've already updated your local branch with the latest commits from this remote. If you haven't updated your local branch, and you're attempting to git push a commit which would create a conflict on the remote repository, you'll get an error message. This is actually a great thing. This is a safety mechanism to prevent you from overwriting commits created by the people you're working with, which could be disastrous. You get the error because your history is outdated. You might perform a brief query and find the command git push force. This command overwrites the remote repository with your own local history. So what would happen if we used this while working with others? Well, let's see what would happen when we're working with ourselves. Type the following commands into your terminal, and when the interactive rebase tool pops up, remove R commit for create fourth file. Git push origin main. Git rebase I root git push force git log. Huh, that's interesting. We can't find our fourth file on our local system. Let's check our GitHub repository to see if it's there. Oh no, we just destroyed it. In this scenario, the danger, you could potentially destroy the work of those you're collaborating with. Git push force is a very dangerous command, and it should be used with caution when collaborating with others. Instead, you can fix your outdated history error by updating your local history using fetch, merge, and then attempting to push again. Let's consider a different scenario. Touch test4.md. Jtad test4.md and in git commit m. Create fifth file, git push origin main. Git log. We look at our commit message and realize, oops, we made a mistake. We want to undo this commit and are once again tempted to just force the push. But wait, remember, this is a very dangerous command. If we're ever considering using it, always check if it's appropriate and if we can use a safer command instead. If we're collaborating with others and want to undo a commit we just made, we can instead use git revert. Git revert head, git push origin main. Remember when we were working with head, aka the current commit we're viewing, while rebasing? What this would do is it would revert the changes to head. Then we would push our new commit to whichever branch we're working on, which in this example is main, even though normally our work would most likely be on a feature branch. So now that we've learned about the various dangers of git push force, you're probably wondering why it exists and when to use it. A very common scenario in which developers use git push force is updating pull requests. Collaborative work is covered more in depth in a separate lesson, but the takeaway from this section should be that the force option should be used only when you are certain that it is appropriate. There are also less common scenarios, such as when sensitive information is accidentally uploaded to a repository and you want to remove all occurrences of it. It is worth giving special mention to git push force with lease, a command which in some companies is the default option. The reason for this is that it's a fail-safe. It checks if the branch you're attempting to push to has been updated and sends you an error if it has. This gives you an opportunity to, as mentioned before, fetch the work and update your local repository. Dangers and best practices. Let's review the dangers we've addressed so far. I know, it's scary stuff, but we have to be mindful or our coworkers might end up hating our guts. If you look back through this lesson, you'll see a common thread. Commit, amend, rebase, reset, push force are all especially dangerous when you're collaborating with others. These commands can destroy work your coworkers have created. So keep that in mind. When attempting to rewrite history, always check the dangers of the particular command you're using and follow these best practices for the commands we've covered. If working on a team project, make sure rewriting history is safe to do and others know you're doing it. Ideally, stick to using these commands only on branches that you're working with by yourself. Using the F flag to force something should scare you, and you better have a really good reason for using it. Don't push after every single commit. Changing published history should be avoided when possible. Regarding the specific commands we've covered, for git commit amend, never amend commits that have been pushed to remote repositories. For git rebase, never rebase a repository that others may work off of. For git reset, never reset commits that have been pushed to remote repositories. For git push force, only use it when appropriate, use it with caution, and preferably default to using git push force with lease. Assignment: read through GitHub's documentation on merge conflict. Skip to main content. About merge conflicts. Merge conflicts happen when you merge branches that have competing commits, and Git needs your help to decide which changes to incorporate in the final merge. In this article, Git can often resolve differences between branches and merge them automatically. Usually, the changes are on different lines, or even in different files, which makes the merge simple for computers to understand. However, sometimes there are competing changes that Git can't resolve without your help. Often, merge conflicts happen when people make different changes to the same line of the same file, or when one person edits a file and another person deletes the same file. You must resolve all merge conflicts before you can merge a pull request on GitHub. If you have a merge conflict between the compare branch and base branch in your pull request, you can view a list of the files with conflicting changes above the merge pull request button. The merge pull request button is deactivated until you've resolved all conflicts between the compare branch and base branch. Resolving merge conflicts. To resolve a merge conflict, you must manually edit the conflicted file to select the changes that you want to keep in the final merge. There are a couple of different ways to resolve a merge conflict. If your merge conflict is caused by competing line changes, such as when people make different changes to the same line of the same file on different branches in your Git repository, you can resolve it on GitHub using the conflict editor. For more information, see Resolving a Merge Conflict on GitHub. For all other types of merge conflicts, you must resolve the merge conflict in a local clone of the repository and push the change to your branch on GitHub. You can use the command line or a tool like GitHub Desktop to push the change. For more information, see Resolving a Merge Conflict using the command line. If you have a merge conflict on the command line, you cannot push your local changes to GitHub until you resolve the merge conflict locally on your computer. If you try merging branches on the command line that have a merge conflict, you'll get an error message. For more information, see Resolving a Merge Conflict using the command line. Git merge branch name auto merging style guide.md conflict content merge conflict in style guide.md automatic merge failed, fix conflicts and then commit the result. Further reading. Skip to main content. About pull request merges. You can merge pull requests by retaining all the commits in a feature branch, squashing all commits into a single commit, or by rebasing individual commits from the head branch onto the base branch. In this article, merge your commits. When you click the default merge pull request option on a pull request, all commits from the feature branch are added to the base branch in a merge commit. The pull request is merged using the NoFF option. To merge pull requests, you must have write permissions in the repository. Squash and merge your commits. When you select the squash and merge option on a pull request, the pull request's commits are squashed into a single commit. Instead of seeing all of a contributor's individual commits from a topic branch, the commits are combined into one commit and merged into the default branch. Pull requests with squashed commits are merged using the fast forward option. To squash and merge pull requests, you must have write permissions in the repository, and the repository must allow squash merging. You can use squash and merge to create a more streamlined Git history in your repository. Work in progress commits are helpful when working on a feature branch, but they aren't necessarily important to retain in the Git history. If you squash these commits into one commit when merging to the default branch, the changes are consolidated, leading to a clear Git history. Merge message for a squash merge. When you squash and merge, GitHub generates a default commit message, which you can edit. Depending on how the repository is configured and the number of commits in the pull request, not including merge commits, this message may include the pull request title, pull request description, or information about the commits. Number of commits summary description. One commit. The title of the commit message for the single commit, followed by the pull request number. The body text of the commit. Light a Git, a guide for the perplexed. About this site is organized in a fairly linear fashion with two variants. Each page has links at the bottom to the previous and next section, so you can read through the site from beginning to end. If you find that you're already familiar with some of the concepts in a given section, you can use the sidebar navigation to skip to specific pages. Keyboard junkies, you can also navigate between sections using the N and P keys for N next and P previous. Vim users may be pleased to know that J and K also work as they expect. I used to have an epic mode page that put almost all the content on one big long page, but I haven't been able to figure out how to replicate this using middlemen. Feel free to contact me if you know how to do this. Who this site is for. About the Think Like a Git, a guide for the perplexed. Who this site is for. Advanced beginners. With Git, you should know how to create a repository, add and commit files to it, and you should probably have some idea of why you might want to use a branch. If you're still struggling with what version control software is for, this site may not be that useful to you. I encourage you to poke around, but if you're not getting much out of it, check out my resources page for some pointers, and consider coming back to this site later. On the other hand, if you can already do a Git rebase interactive without breaking a sweat, you may not get that much out of the site. But I hope it gives you a framework for helping others learn. I encourage you to look over the resources and suggest any other links you've found that have helped you get to where you are now. About this site, what this site will try to teach you. About this site. Think Like a Git, a guide for the perplexed. Resources, software, GitX. Development on the original version of GitX stalled out years ago. The most recent fork that I know about is the Rowange one, and that one appears to have been dormant since 2014. There are a bunch of Git GUIs available these days. GitX fits my brain and continues to work, so I keep using it. Fig. Text Mode Interface for Git by Jonas Fonseca. Suggested by Mark Schultz. This is a text mode UI that gives you pretty, but still text-based, views of many of the same things that GitX does. I personally don't have a lot of use for this, but for those of you who really love your CLI or your screen readers, this might fit your working style a bit better. Free stuff about Git. The Git Parable, 2009 blog post by Tom Preston Werner. Explains why you
Pero ka na.
Sige. Lumarin po.
Please, come. Please. Please. Hey. Hey, I'm going to this now. Come, speak up, it's now. Okay, come. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Kung ano kagkape Rosilya? Mami, ano kagkape?
Bakit ano ka?
Kagkape.
Ano?
Kita nagkat kasi mat. Tapos tirabi ikat. Basta na bago ang matulog. Sakit ba? UTI ba? Tapos tapos minamaktid niya. May sa oras, may katan. Magsakit ba?
Musbo ka nga.
Ang nagbasit lang to pigab-gabi ko nga ako.
Ang nga di ka piday ka mo.
Kagudwa nga wala ako.
Ang nga di ka piday ka.
Sa series na
Boom.
ha?
Ha? Titikid ang boom.
Tapos la
Boom ang gani.
may ka 3 days na di kalma.
Ako na is boom mo eh.
Iso malat ta.
Nga aso.
Ngam naman
Awan
minsan.
clearless. Ay clearless nga. Clear.
Ngam naman minsan kas la dark.
Ano ibig sabihin no dark mong eh? Kurang ka ganun.
Ira na naman ano pa nagtuturo. No nakatutugawak. Awamot. Na maturog akon. Na makaturog akon. Ay shit, nagsakit matan. So nga ako ba ang maturog. Disla di kalman. Nakaduwa nga buti ang maturog.
Vâng ạ, Hare Krishna về giả đọc. Ada? Serius? Oke. Oke. Kalau aku mau ke Pariku, tidak mau kita kung meron kung makita mahal. Tanga nga Parikus Dekta. Yung nakita, talong na tuyo, stretch mark na ito, kita man. Yung Parikus, stretch mark yun.
Mistaken na move.
This that's through all of the richness of the pork, the chicken. Yeah, flavors are really great as well. I love the tomatoes. Yeah, I think that's a nice option. Yeah, you have stuff for that. Yeah, I do. And I love it. Oh, there's like an authentic bite to their taste. Yeah, it feels really like Spanish style, but with a Filipino food. Exactly. Cheers. Oh, the pork.
May exam is extra lang.
As a dietitian, I love showing how
That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, place. Because
Ramen, pinball, or
don't say song Mona Lisa.
the flowers are purple and yellow one.
Women become extremely satisfied knowing that they broke the spirit of a man who loved her.
I said that.
Understand that you know can't dance yet, and it ain't good. You're feeling like shit. This song's for you. I'm just no good with the things I say. No good on the day today. No good.
So this is me for the club. We're going in. Wait till you see after. It's going to be a mess. So this is.
It's like she says she wanna dance, but she don't know how to. An iced out food, looking like a star. Her name is Jenny. Ooh, these don't have no panties. I'm snapping for his like. She says she wanna dance, but she don't know how to. Iced out food, looking like a star. Her name is Jenny. Ooh, these don't have no pants. Some girls need to hear this. Dear ladies, don't charge your phone with different charge. It might damage your charging port. I'm gonna try. I hate the wipeouts. What do you do for a living? Really? Hell yeah. No, man, I like this. Said you do all fast if you need any co-stars. No? I'll make you a lot of money. It means exactly what you think it means. Will you let me be a co-star? No, I don't know you. What do you do for a living? Really? Hell yeah. No, man, but I like it. You said you do all fast if you need any co-stars. I'll make you a lot of money. What does that mean? It means exactly what you think it means. Do you have a question for me? Will you let me be a co-star? No, I don't know you. What do you do for a living? Really? Hell yeah. Man, life goes up and down, pushing me around. And I can't keep up my head. Pull me to the sky, lift me off the ground. 'Cause I can't keep up my head. Life goes up and down, pushing me around. What did you see first in this image? What caught your eye right away? This is a psychological test, an optical illusion that reveals how easily you open up to others. If the waterfall was the first thing you noticed, it means you open up easily and make new connections quickly. You see yourself as an open person, and your lightness and simplicity attract others. You're also a great listener and give genuinely helpful advice. The only downside is that people might see you as too positive, to the point where they think you have no problems at all. That's because when others come to you with their issues, you're always there to listen and help. But when it comes to your own problems, you prefer to handle them alone. While you take pride in your independence, deep down, you wish you had someone to lean on and share your struggles with. If you saw a bear or panda first, you're the opposite of the previous description. You may appear sweet and friendly on the outside, but you don't easily let people into your heart. It usually takes you a long time to trust someone, and you have a hard time letting go of past hurts. This is often rooted in a traumatic experience. Maybe you were betrayed or deceived before, and now you keep your distance. But that's not a bad thing. In fact, it shows you've learned from your past and are cautious not to repeat the same mistakes. When you first meet a girl, you give her 2 compliments above the neck. Yeah, tell her she's got nice lips, nice eyes, nice hair, she's intelligent, her moral ethics, whatever crap comes to your mind. Then, just when she begins to think that you're another, vanilla nice guy that she can tool around with all night without getting naked, you insult her, flip the power dynamic, and you let her know you're here to play. Like, Jenny said she doesn't like games. Well, she said about that broad. All this was to get her back. That's why you gotta forget about her. It's your feelings for her that are killing your game. If there's one thing that you learned tonight, it's this. The power of a relationship lies with whoever cares less. When did you wake up with some chick spooning, thinking about love? That you have got to get up, walk, you don't get your shoes, you run the hell out of there, because maybe not the next day or the next week, but sometime in the future, you're going to get crushed again. And you don't want to feel that way, do you? No. Yeah? Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. See, I wanted to pick up on that ice cold blonde at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock? How did you even see her? We'll deal with reflective surfaces another time. Follow Masculine Craze for more relationship advice and tips. When you first meet a girl, you give her 2 compliments above the neck. Yeah, tell her she's got nice lips, nice eyes, nice hair, she's intelligent, her moral ethics, whatever crap comes with her. Then, just when she begins to think that you're another, vanilla nice guy that she can tool around with all night without getting naked, you insult her, flip the power dynamic, and you let her know you're here to play. Like, Jenny said she doesn't like games. Well, she said about that broad. But all this was to get her back. That's why you gotta forget about her. It's your feelings for her that are killing your game. If there's one thing that you learned tonight, it's this. The power of a relationship lies with whoever cares less. When did you wake up with some chick spooning, thinking about love? And at that, do you take my jacket?